Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. I love to geek out about the brain.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Always up for an adventure in the mind.
well, get ready because today we are diving into the world of dreams.
Ooh, sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And I've got this book here all about sleep. And there's a whole chapter on dreams. I mean, what they are, where they come from, what they might do for us. I thought it'd be fun to,
Unpack it all.
yeah, unpack it all.
Explore those mysteries.
Yeah, and this book jumped right in with a pretty wild claim.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, it basically says that we're all a little psychotic every night.
Whoa, wait a minute. Psychotic every night? That's a bold statement.
Yeah, right? I mean, we're talking hallucinations, delusions, disorientation, emotional swings, and even amnesia when we wake up.
Yeah, those are definitely hallmarks of psychosis. But you're saying this happens every night when we sleep?
That's what the book is saying, and it's actually considered normal.
Huh. I guess that really challenges our definition of normal, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the book even points out that if you were experiencing any of this while you were awake, you'd probably be, seeking help.
Yeah, definitely. Seeking some professional support.
But during sleep, it's just part of the process.
So are we like having these mini mental breaks every night for some reason?
Well, that's one of the big mysteries researchers are trying to figure out.
I mean, how can our brains go from perfectly rational during the day to seemingly losing touch with reality at night?
Right. It's almost like our brains have this secret life that only comes out when we're asleep.
It's a bit like a Jekyll and Hyde situation, isn't it?
Totally. And, thankfully, scientists are starting to unravel some of these mysteries.
Oh, really? That's exciting. What kind of tools are they using to study dreams?
Well, one of the coolest tools is something called an MRI.
An MRI, like the big brain scanner.
Exactly. And it allows researchers to actually watch the brain in action during dreaming.
Wow, so we can actually see what's happening in the brain while someone's dreaming. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a total game changer because in the past, researchers relied on things like EEGs.
EEGs, yeah, those measure brain waves, but they don't give you the same level of detail as an MRI, do they?
Right. They just kind of give you this broad overview of brain activity. But with an MRI, you can pinpoint exactly which areas of the brain are firing up.
So it's like going from watching a blurry black and white TV to a high-definition color screen.
Exactly. You get this incredible precise picture of what's going on in the brain.
So what have they found? What's happening in our brains when we dream?
Well, buckle up because it's pretty wild. They've discovered that certain areas of the brain become super active during dreaming.
Like which areas?
Well, it's kind of a mix of different regions that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be partying together.
Oh, this is getting interesting. Tell me more.
So for starters, the parts of the brain responsible for visual imagery, they go into overdrive.
Ah, that makes sense. I mean, dreams are full of vivid images, right?
Exactly. And then you've got the motor cortex, which controls movement.
Oh, so that's why sometimes it feels like we're actually running or moving around in our dreams.
Yep. Even though our bodies are totally still.
It's like our brains are practicing movements in this virtual reality world.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And then there's the hippocampus.
The hippocampus, isn't that the part of the brain that deals with memory?
It is.
Yeah.
And during dreams, it's busy pulling in memories from our past.
So that's why sometimes our dreams are full of people and places that we haven't thought about in years.
Totally. It's like our brains are shifting through our memories and weaving them into these fantastical stories.
Okay, so we've got the visual centers, the motor cortex, the hippocampus, all firing up during dreams. Anything else?
Well, here's the real shocker. The amygdala and the cingulate cortex are also super active.
The amygdala and cingulate cortex. Wait, those are the parts of the brain that deal with emotions.
You got it. And they're especially involved in processing intense emotions like fear and anxiety.
So that's why dreams can feel so real and why we sometimes wake up feeling scared or anxious.
Yeah, even if the dream itself doesn't make any logical sense, the emotions we feel in the dream can be very real.
This is also fascinating. It's like our dreams are putting on this elaborate show for us every night.
Right. With vivid imagery, movement memories, and intense emotions.
But there's one thing I'm still wondering about. What about the part of our brain that's in charge of logic and reasoning?
Oh yeah, the prefrontal cortex.
Is that getting in on the action too?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting because during REM sleep, the prefrontal cortex basically shuts down.
What? You're saying the part of our brain that helps us make sense of the world, it just takes a break while we're dreaming?
Yep. It's like the brain CEO clocks out for the night.
Wow, no wonder dreams can be so bizarre and illogical. It's like letting your imagination run wild without any adult supervision.
Exactly. And this is actually one of the reasons why some researchers draw parallels between dreaming and psychosis.
Oh, how so?
Well, both dreaming and psychosis involve unusual thought patterns, vivid imagery, and a disconnect from reality.
I see the connection. But of course, dreaming is a normal, healthy part of sleep, while psychosis is a serious mental health condition.
Right, exactly. But studying the similarities between the two could help us understand both better.
That makes sense. So are you saying that our brains are practicing being a little out there in a safe environment when we dream?
That's one theory. The book suggests that dreams might be a way for our brains to experiment with different modes of thinking without the constraints of logic and reason.
Hmm. Interesting. So it's like our brains are playing with different possibilities, exploring new ways of connecting ideas.
Yeah, and maybe that's why dreams can sometimes feel so creative and insightful.
Okay, but if dreams aren't bound by logic, how do they relate to our waking lives? I mean, we've all heard of the idea that dreams are just replays of our day, right?
Yeah, the day residue theory. It's a popular one.
But is it true?
Well, the book actually debunked that theory pretty thoroughly.
Oh, really? So it's not like our brains are just running through a highlight reel of our day while we sleep.
Not exactly. There was this fascinating study where researchers had people keep detailed diaries of their waking lives and their dreams.
Oh, wow. A dream diary. That sounds fun.
And they found that only a tiny percentage of dreams actually reflected specific events from the day.
Hmm. Interesting. So if it's not specific events, what is it about our waking lives that makes its way into our dreams?
Well, the answer might surprise you. It's not the events themselves, but the emotions.
Really? So the feelings we experience during the day, they seep into our dreams, even if the actual scenarios are completely different.
Exactly. It's like our dreams are processing those emotions, maybe even helping us regulate them.
So even if my dream involves, like, flying through space with a talking cat, the underlying emotion might be connected to something I experienced that day.
Exactly. It's like our dreams are this echo chamber for our emotions.
So are you saying dreams are like our own personal therapists, helping us work through our feelings while we sleep?
Now, that's an interesting thought. Tell me more about that. I'm all ears. So you were saying dreams are like our own personal therapist, helping us work through our feelings in our sleep.
Yeah, it's a fascinating idea, right?
Totally. So are scientists actually looking into this?
Oh, absolutely. The book talks about the sleep researcher Robert Stickgold, and his work really helped solidify this idea that dreams are all about processing emotions.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading about him. So what did his research show exactly?
Well, he found that it wasn't the actual events of the day that were showing up in dreams, but more the feelings underneath, like those underlying emotions.
Oh, I see. So even if my dream is totally bonkers and makes absolutely no sense, the emotions I'm feeling in it could be tied to something I experienced that day.
Exactly. It's like our dreams are this echo chamber for our emotions.
Okay, so then why are those emotional centers of the brain so active during REM sleep?
That's a great question. And it really gets to the heart of what dreams might be doing for us. You see, those emotional centers, they're not just firing randomly, they're busy processing and making sense of our feelings.
So it's like our brains are working through our emotional baggage while we sleep.
In a way, yeah. And that leads to some pretty interesting theories about the function of dreams.
Like what kind of theories?
Well, one idea is that dreams play a key role in something called emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation. Okay, I've heard that term before, but remind me what it means.
Basically, it's the ability to manage and control our emotions, so we don't let them get the best of us.
Oh, okay. So are you saying that dreams help us dial down the intensity of strong emotions?
Exactly. Especially negative ones, like anxiety or fear.
So it's like our dreams are giving us a safe space to work through difficult emotions without the pressure of real-world consequences?
That's the idea. Think about it. In our dreams, we can face our fears, confront difficult situations, and process those feelings without actually being in any danger.
Wow, that's actually a really cool way to think about it. So it's like a dress rehearsal for dealing with those emotions in real life.
I like that analogy. And the book even talks about how this connection between dreams and emotional regulation can really impact our mental health.
Really? How so?
Well, studies have shown that people who consistently get enough REM sleep, and therefore enough dream time, tend to be better at coping with stress and bouncing back from challenges.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, if we don't give our brains enough time to process emotions in our sleep, those emotions might start to overflow into our waking lives, right?
Exactly. The research is pretty clear on this. Getting enough REM sleep is about more than just feeling rested. It's actually crucial for maintaining our emotional balance.
Okay, so we've established that dreams are important for processing emotions and keeping our moods in check. But the book also hinted at dreams doing even more than that. Something about learning and memory, right?
You're right. That's another major theory about the function of dreams, that they contribute to how we learn and consolidate memories.
Really, so all that seemingly random stuff in our dreams could actually be helping us solidify information.
That's what researchers are finding. There's growing evidence that during REM sleep, our brains are busy transferring information from short-term memory to long-term memory.
Oh, wow. So it's like our brains are taking all the new stuff we've learned and weaving it into the fabric of our existing knowledge.
Exactly. And those bizarre dream scenarios might actually be helping that process along.
How so?
Well, some researchers believe that the strange imagery and illogical connections in dreams, they actually help us make sense of new information in a way that wouldn't be possible in our waking logical minds.
So it's like dreams are giving us a different perspective on things, helping us see connections that we might otherwise miss.
That's a great way to put it. And like dreams are this playground for our brains where they can experiment with different ideas and ways of thinking without those limitations of logic and reason.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about emotions then. Our dreams are also contributing to our cognitive abilities.
It seems so. And again, this really highlights how important it is to prioritize sleep and make sure we're getting enough of that crucial REM stage. We're not just resting our bodies, we're giving our brains time to process emotions, consolidate memories, and potentially even boost our creative thinking.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about how dreams are like mini psychotic episodes that are actually normal. We explored how MRI scans are letting us peek inside the dreaming brain and understand how different areas light up, especially those involved with visual imagery movement and emotions. And of course, how the prefrontal cortex takes a break, which helps explain why dreams can be so strange and illogical.
Yeah, and we also challenge some of those common myths about dreams, like the idea that they're just replays of our day or simply expressions of our hidden desires.
Right, and we've talked about some pretty convincing research that suggests dreams actually serve some important functions, like helping us regulate our emotions and consolidate memories.
Absolutely. But there's one more intriguing possibility that the book brought up, something about dreams and creativity.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. Could those bizarre dream scenarios actually be the key to unlocking our creative potential?
That's the big question. We'll have to explore that next
Well,
time.
now that's a cliffhanger I can't wait to resolve. But I guess our listeners will have to wait for part 3 for that.
Stay tuned, folks. The dream adventure continues.
Okay, Dream Adventures, welcome back for the grand finale. We explore this wild world of dreams as little mini psychosis episodes. They help us process emotions, solidify memories. But we left off with a big question. Can dreams actually make us more creative?
You know, it's a question that has captivated people for centuries. Artists, writers, scientists, they've all wondered about this connection between dreams and creativity.
Yeah, and this book really dives into some compelling evidence that suggests the answer might actually be yes.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. I've always been curious about that link between dreams and creativity.
Well, for starters, the book is full of these fascinating anecdotes about famous artists, scientists, inventors who credit their breakthroughs to dreams. Like, remember that chemist August Kekule?
Kekule. Oh yeah, the one who dreamt of a snake biting its tail.
That's the one. And that dream led him to discover the structure of the benzene ring.
Talk about a dream with impact, right?
Seriously. And there are tons of other examples. The book mentions Paul McCartney waking up with the melody for Yesterday, fully formed in his head.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah, apparently. And Salvador Dali, he found inspiration for his surreal paintings in his dreams.
It's amazing to think that some of the most iconic works of art and scientific discoveries might have started as just a fleeting image in someone's dream.
Right. It really makes you wonder what kind of creative potential is hidden within our own dreams.
So are there any studies that actually show this connection? Or is it all just anecdotal evidence?
Well, there are actually studies that have looked into this connection. Researchers have found that people tend to be more creative after a good night's sleep.
Okay, that makes sense. We all know how groggy and uninspired we can feel when we're sleep deprived.
Exactly. But here's the key. It's especially after getting plenty of REM sleep that people's creativity seems to get a boost.
Ah, so it's not just about sleep in general. It's about getting enough of that REM sleep where those vivid dreams happen.
That's right. And they found that people who got more REM sleep performed better on tasks that require something called divergent thinking.
Divergent thinking, what's that?
It's basically the ability to come up with new and original ideas, to think outside the box.
Oh, so it's not just about having a good imagination. It's about being able to come up with solutions that others might miss.
Exactly. And it seems like dreams might be a training ground for that kind of thinking.
How so?
Well, remember how we talked about the prefrontal cortex going offline during REM sleep?
Oh, yeah. That inner critic taking a break.
Right. So it's like our brains are free to play without that logical filter, making connections and exploring possibilities that we might never even consider while we're awake.
So it's like giving our creativity free rein.
Precisely. And that's where the magic can happen. The book suggests that by letting go of logic and reason, our dreams allow us to tap into this wellspring of creativity that we might not even be aware of in our waking lives.
So it's like our dreams are this untapped reservoir of creative potential.
I like that. An untapped reservoir of creative potential. And the book even offers some practical tips for harnessing this dream-inspired creativity.
Ooh, okay, I'm all ears. I need to boost my creative
Well,
juices.
first and foremost, it all starts with prioritizing sleep.
Of course, we've talked about how important sleep is.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're getting enough of that crucial REM sleep. That's the foundation for any potential dream benefits.
Right, it's like you can't expect to tap into your creative dreamscape if you're not giving your brain enough time to dream.
Exactly. But beyond just getting enough sleep, the book recommends keeping a dream journal.
A dream
Yep.
journal.
Jot down any dream fragments or images you remember as soon as you wake up.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. But I'm always so groggy in the morning, I can never remember anything.
I know it could be tough, but even if you only remember snippets, just write down whatever comes to mind. The act of writing it down can actually help solidify the memory.
Interesting. So it's like capturing those fleeting dreams before they disappear.
Exactly. And the book suggests going beyond just writing down the dream. You can try sketching what you saw, even if it doesn't make logical sense.
Okay, I like that. That could be fun.
Right. And jot down any feelings or emotions that the dream evoked.
Hmm. It's like turning those dream images into something tangible, something you can work with and explore further.
That's the idea. And as you start to pay more attention to your dreams, you might be surprised by the connections and patterns that emerge.
Like recurring symbols or themes.
Exactly. Maybe you'll notice certain characters that pop up again and again, or certain emotions that keep surfacing.
So it's like our dreams are speaking to us in the secret language.
I love that. Our dreams speaking to us in a secret language. And by paying attention, we can start to decipher the message.
And who knows, that message might just hold the key to your next creative breakthrough.
Right. Or maybe it'll just help you understand yourself a little bit better.
Well, that's a pretty valuable outcome, too.
This has been such an amazing deep dive. We started by talking about how dreams are like these mini psychotic episodes that are actually totally normal. And we ended up uncovering all these fascinating functions they serve. They help us process emotions, solidify memories, and maybe even boost our creativity.
It's really incredible to think about how much is going on in our brains while we sleep.
It's like this whole other world that we get to explore every night.
And it might just hold the key to unlocking our hidden potential.
Well said. So the next time you wake up from a weird dream, don't just brush it off. Embrace the strangeness, explore the emotions, and see if it sparks any new ideas.
Who knows, that dream might just be the catalyst for your next masterpiece, or maybe just a little more self-awareness.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this dream exploration.
It was my pleasure. Always happy to dive into the mysteries of the mind.
And to all our listeners out there, sweet dreams. We'll catch you in the next deep dive.